Tales of the Caballos by William H. White. Part 3, Chapter 6, Angel's Landing. Angel's Landing is a name given to a promontory of limestone that separates Burbank Canyon from Long Bottom Canyon in the Caballo Mountains of New Mexico. It can be reached most easily by driving up to the communication towers from the Jornada del Muerto to the east of the mountain range. The road is good, and the vehicle can be parked at the top with relative safety from thieves and vandals. One must then hike south to the road's end, which is about 1/8 of a mile of easy walking. From this point on, the trail is not for the weak, lazy, or overweight. You start downhill almost immediately with a combination of light rock climbing and careful walking until the bottom of the trail is reached. The trail from this point on is easily followed, continuing in the southerly direction until one emerges onto a relatively flat area at the upper reaches of the limestone cliffs that dominate the scenery when viewed from the canyon below. This is the area loosely referred to as Angel's Landing. The trail branches at this point, with the left trail heading for Hidden Valley, a pleasant remote place littered with truck-sized boulders broken off from the cliffs above. This valley is about 2 miles from the trail fork and well inside Burbank Canyon, a worthy destination for those who love remote places and privacy. A trail fork to the right is the one that will take the hiker to Angel's Landing and the Hurley claims. This story is about George Hurley, a man who lived and died with an obsession and who was never successful at his attempts to find his way back into the mountain that he had seen when he was a lad of 17. George was a local boy who grew up under the shadow of the Caballo Mountains. He was befriended by an Apache Indian who was rumored to be a relative of Geronimo. This Indian, whose name is unknown, took George into the mountain through an opening somewhere on the face of the limestone cliffs close to Angel's Landing. George was quite young at the time, and it wasn't until he was in his early 40s that he began in the earnest to try to regain entrance into the mountain. There is an enclave or horizontal indention on the limestone cliffs, and this is where George established his base camp. The trail starts down steeply from the ridge back to this location and ends up with 40-foot vertical cliffs, which I recommend only for experienced rock climbers. One slip would mean a 700-foot fall into the canyon floor below. George Hurley was never able to locate the original hole he entered with the Indian so many years ago. George did what most obsessed men on the Caballo Mountains did. He started blasting holes into the mountain to try to intercept the cavern he knew existed somewhere close by. The hole was done with an economy of assets. It was about 4 feet high and 2 feet wide, and it stretches for about 150 feet into the mountain. It is very cramped and dangerous due to the lack of shoring, but worth seeing for those few adventurous enough to reach the enclave. The end. This is the end of Part 3. Next up will be Part 4, Chapter 1, Ace's Hideout.